Would you give your last coin to someone more in need than you, knowing you had nothing else left to survive? This is the story of a man who did just that, and what followed left an entire city weeping and the world watching. Part 1: The Man on the Corner. Every morning at sunrise, old Karim would limp to the same dusty corner of the market street. His tattered shawl barely shielded him from the cold, and the soles of his shoes were worn so thin that even the smallest pebble beneath his feet felt like a rock. For over 10 years, he sat on the same stone slab with a dented tin bowl beside him. He never begged loudly. He never chased people down. He simply sat with quiet eyes and a soft voice, whispering, "Allah aapko is it da," to anyone who looked his way. Karim wasn't always a beggar. Years ago, he had a small book repair shop, loved by the children of his neighborhood. But fate had other plans. His wife died of illness he couldn't afford to treat, his shop burned in a fire during a city riot, and soon, the debts crushed him. Now, Karim had only one possession: dignity. And a single rupee coin in his pocket. Part 2: The Girl in the Rain. It was a cold evening in November when the sky wept heavily over the city. People ran with umbrellas, some huddled under awnings, but the street cleared quickly. Except for one small girl. She was barefoot, soaked from head to toe, maybe 7 or 8 years old. Her tiny hands clutched a torn bag that had split open. Mangoes rolled into the gutter, wasted. Her wide eyes blinked through the rain, helpless. Karim noticed her. Her lips quivered not from the cold, but from something deeper, a fear, a hunger, a shame too heavy for such young shoulders. She didn't beg. She didn't even look around for help. She simply bent down and started collecting the rotten fruit, wiping them with her dress. Karim stood slowly, his joints aching with each movement. He limped over, pulled the only rupee coin he had left, the one he had saved for a piece of bread later that night, and gently placed it in her hand. The girl looked up, startled. "Buy yourself something warm, Beatty," he said, forcing a smile. She wanted to speak but words failed her. She looked at the coin as if it were gold, then ran toward a nearby tea stall. Karim returned to his corner, hungry, cold, and now, completely empty-handed. Part 3: A Stranger Watching Silently. What Karim didn't know was that someone had seen the entire thing. A man, sitting inside a sleek black car across the street, had watched from behind a tinted window. That man's name was Imran Shah, a reclusive billionaire philanthropist known for his silence and his heart. Imran had just left a charity meeting where people debated spreadsheets and budgets and forgot about real stories, real people. Frustrated, he asked his driver to stop at a tea stall so he could think. And then he saw Karim, a beggar, a nobody, give away his only coin to someone more desperate than him. It shook Imran to his soul. Without a second thought, Imran stepped out of his car, walked into the rain, and approached Karim. "Baba, what you did just now, why?" he asked, kneeling before him. Karim looked up slowly, confused. "She needed it more," Karim replied simply, shivering. Imran stared at him, no speech, no philosophy, no show, just pure, painful kindness. Part 4: The Morning After, A Miracle Unfolds. The next morning, the market woke up to the biggest commotion it had ever seen. Where Karim usually sat, now stood a golden banner. "This man gave his last coin with love. Let's give him his life back." Dozens of news cameras surrounded the spot. Crowds gathered. A brand new food cart stood beside a clean bed. Doctors arrived to check Karim's health. And then came the final moment. Imran Shah walked up to Karim, live on every television channel in the country, and handed him a document. "This is the deed to a new home," Imran announced, his voice trembling. "And this is the license to your very own bookstore, fully funded. All in your name." Karim collapsed to his knees, unable to speak. Tears ran down his face, his hands trembling as he held the paper. Reporters, bystanders, even policemen, they all cried with him. In one night, a beggar with nothing became a man with everything. Part 5, The Ripples of Kindness. But the story didn't end there. Inspired by Karim's selfless act, a wave of kindness spread across the nation. Social media exploded with hashtags. Hashtag #OneCoinKindness. Hashtag Karim Kujaisaban. Hashtag Heart Over Wealth. People began donating to shelters, opening free food stalls, and most importantly, seeing the poor not as invisible, but as humans with stories. The little girl, Amina, was also found by Imran's team. She and her mother were given a new home and education. Amina would later become a social worker, dedicating her life to children on the street, all because one man gave her a coin. Finale, full circle. 10 years later, a huge crowd gathered outside a school library. Cameras clicked. Flowers adorned the entrance. An old man, now healthy and smiling, stood proudly cutting the ribbon. It was Karim. The library was named, the Last Coin Foundation. A reporter asked him, "Do you regret giving away that coin?" Karim smiled, tears shining in his eyes. "That was never a loss," he whispered. "It was my richest moment." Inspiring message, closing voiceover style. Sometimes, it takes just one small act of kindness to awaken the heart of the world. He gave a coin. The world gave him a home. But more than anything, he gave us all a reason to believe in humanity again.